All right. Welcome, Marie. How are you?
Hi, Boban. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Great to have you here on the Broker Room. I'm very
Thank
excited. So, a couple of things that people might know or might not know about us. You and I actually went to uni together. What was it, about 20 years ago now? I mean, showing our age.
Just over, yep. Fun times.
Fun times, absolutely. So we went to uni together. That was great. And Marie, you've done an amazing job in becoming now the head of strategic partnerships for Shift. Tell us a little bit, or tell the audience a little bit about where you've come from, what you've done, what's your background, and then we'll get into Shift and what that looks like.
No problem. So where we met at uni. I was actually studying just an accounting degree back then, and I was working in accounting. I was a junior auditor. Unfortunately, that wasn't as exciting as I'd hoped it'd be. So I did end up actually changing my degree and did banking and finance and accounting. And from there, I moved on to an asset finance lender at the time, Delaga Lendon, some of you may know. And that's where I kind of learnt the tools of the trade when it comes to credit. And from there, I developed into, to become a credit manager, ending my kind of credit career, if you want to say that, at Macquarie Leasing, managing a large team, specialised lending, large ticket deals, etc. Now, there was some challenges along the way. There was some learnings. There was some exciting stuff. But throughout that career, my credit career, that is, I learnt so much. And then my manager at the time, actually, at Macquarie, Christian McCausland, had actually just kind of pulled me aside and said, "Hey, I think you should come into sales." And I said, "Well, no, I'm credit. Like, that's all I know. I'm credit."
Step,
yeah. It is a big step. But I said, "You know what? Like, this is an opportunity. It's something different. I love brokers because, obviously in credit, you deal with brokers a fair bit day to day." And I said, "Why not? I'm just going to give it a go." And so I did. I entered sales, if you want to call it that, 4 years ago, and started off as an account manager, business development manager. I did leave Macquarie after 10 years and went over to Shift, which it was known as Get Capital back then. And I am where I am today, head of strategic partnerships, and really enjoying that role. I continue to have those relationships with brokers. I learn a lot from brokers. So it's actually really fun. I'm really passionate about it.
Oh, that's great to hear. Tell us a little bit about the role. Head of strategic partnerships sounds pretty fancy, but what is the day-to-day? What does that actually look like? What does it mean? And how do you help brokers on a day-to-day basis?
I know I don't actually like to say my title too much, but basically in a nutshell, just working in tandem with our partners, basically. So our partners are aggregators like yourselves. It's brokers as well. It's industry partners, just working in tandem with them to make sure that brokers are supported and they're getting, the support that they need. They're getting solutions to be able to provide to their customers. So making sure that that's all happening. The day-to-day, there is a lot of admin as well. There's also a lot of fun stuff as well. You go to events, you go to, PD days, awards, etc. And that's where you meet a lot of the brokers. It's quite fun. That part is fun because you're meeting them face to face. You've spoken to them so many times, as you would.
Yeah.
But then to meet them face to face, that's
now you talked about solutions. Tell the audience a little bit of what are these solutions? What does Shift bring to the table? What are the products? What space do you guys play in?
Sure. So some of you may know Shift under its formal previous name, Get Capital. So Shift was started off in 2014 as Get Capital, and we started off because our CEO, Jamie, saw a niche in the market. There wasn't a real solution for brokers and businesses in the business loan space. Yes, there was the majors, etc., but there was this little niche there, and he used that and drove the business through that piece. But fast forward to where we are now, 2022, we've become so much more than that. We not only offer business loans, but we also offer asset finance. We have a fantastic platform that streams, live data and pulls that back for brokers so that they're able to actually see information live on their customer, not just financial statements. It's talking about banking statements. So I think that that's part of where we've become and why we rebranded. And we're continuing to evolve just based off on the feedback from our brokers and our partners.
Now, asset finance, for lack of a better word, that's leasing, car loans, equipment finance. What does that actually encompass in terms of product?
So anyone wanting to purchase something, and generally people will say anything tangible, but it doesn't necessarily mean anything tangible, such as a car, truck, a CNC machine. I'm just trying to think of some of the weird and wacky ones that we've done. I've done a blood dehydrator machine, which was fun back in my days.
That's pretty cool.
So fit outs, tertiary equipment, such as, the paint on the wall, when you do that sort of stuff, the shelving, that can all fall under asset finance. And generally it's a chattel mortgage. There are other lenders, not Shift, but there are other lenders that do operating leases, for example. But with Shift, we offer the standard chattel mortgage, which is, you take out the loan, you pay it over a set term, or we have a revolving facility for asset finance. That has been quite popular. We only released that about 3-4 months ago now, and that's more suitable for like the tertiary, the fit out type of products or assets, I should say.
And so what's the easiest way for a broker to get in touch with you guys? Do they need to be accredited? How does it work? What does the process look like?
Very easy. We have BDMs across our whole of Australia. We have BDMs, 3 in each state. We also have the BDMs from your team, the VAL YBR BDMs know us quite well. And generally, what will happen is they'll probably reach out to one of your BDMs and they'll say, hey, I've got this scenario, etc., etc. And, your boys will just give us a buzz and say, hey, I have this broker, and they give us a call and we just start the accreditation process. And the accreditation process is all digital. It takes 5 minutes. And then from there, our BDMs will be in contact to be able to just work through the scenario and work through our products.
That's amazing. So it sounds like a pretty straightforward and seamless process if a broker wants to get accredited and wants to start utilising your services, is what I'm hearing.
Yes, definitely. And if it's not, I will want to know why so we can fix it.
Yeah, and make sure that it is seamless.
Definitely.
Perfect. I love it. Now, change gears a little bit. One of the things that I know you're quite passionate about is women in finance. Tell us about the importance of having more women in finance and what that means to you.
I am a woman, so it's very important. I think our industry has done so well over the last few years. There's still obviously a lot more that we can do. We have so many different organisations, the industry bodies, the aggregators. They're all supporting women and doing great things in the industry. Women's Commercial Finance Forum, Yaz was on this podcast a few weeks ago. And you can see that the importance of just trying to bring women into the industry. Why? Why bring women in the industry? I think we just bring a different perspective, a different viewpoint. It's not to say women are better than men or men are better than women in this industry. It's just bringing a different perspective to an industry that's generally male dominated. And I think that there's a bit of a fear factor for women coming into the industry because of that. And I like to talk about, my experience in the industry. I've had many male mentors and male leaders who've supported me. And like I gave that example before where, Christian had said, just come over to sales. He probably knew what I was capable of and was really pushing me to do that. And sometimes women, I feel, have a bit of imposter syndrome. No, I can't do that. And it's an example of imposter syndrome where you feel like you can't do it. But anyone can enter our industry and learn so much. I'm still learning today. So I think that people thinking, I'm going to come into the industry and I know it. No, it changes, and you would know as well. The economy changes, the industry changes. It's
changing daily, and we're learning daily. I agree with you there. So what I'm hearing from yourself is that women can come into the industry and absolutely smash it. They can climb that ladder. They just need to believe in themselves. Why do you think that women are scared in coming into finance? I mean, I know it is male dominated, but why do you think they're scared? What's that prohibiting factor?
Well, I'll give you an example because I actually spoke to, her name's Melissa. She works with me at Shift and her background is bookkeeping, and she's quite young. And she was put forward by a broker to work with us. And I asked her the question. I said, what made you join the finance industry? She said, well, I'm excited about it and I've always wanted to, but there was a bit of doubt. The confidence wasn't there for me to enter the industry. But when I met you and I met some other, staff members, I got confidence because I knew you'd help me. And so I think that's why there's that bit of fear factor for women. Perhaps they think that they need to be and know everything in the industry before entering it. And I just have to say that that's not true. There's a lot of people here to help and support women to enter the industry, and they'll want to see you, thrive. And like I mentioned before, those industry bodies and aggregators, a lot of support there.
So what, overarchingly, I don't want to push this subject too much, but overarchingly, what would be the advice you would give to women entering the industry? If you could give 3 pieces of advice, what would it be?
Don't doubt yourself.
Mm-hmm. Agree.
Don't doubt yourself. And ask questions. Definitely ask questions, and don't be afraid to ask those questions, even if you think they sound stupid. And some people find this hard, but network. Even if it's just meeting one person at an industry event, that one person may make a difference for your career, and that person will help you. And anyone that doesn't help in this industry, I've never heard of anyone not helping in this industry. If anything, everyone wants to just continue to support each other, which is great, which is why I love the industry.
Yeah, I love that, and it's all quite positive. Thank you, Marie. Now, what are your thoughts on the current challenges in the market at the moment? What are you guys facing a shift, and where do you see the market going in the next couple of years?
Good question, and I think that there's a lot of noise happening. You hear the media, you hear different people talking amongst each other and giving each other advice and so forth. And this is a tough part because you're hearing different things, right? It's just you've got to kind of black out that noise a bit and focus obviously on yourself, focus on your customers, and expect the unexpected. That's my thing. Expect the unexpected. 2-3 years ago, we didn't know COVID was going to come along, right?
Yep.
But it did. And it impacted us dramatically. Uncertainty, etc. Lenders were cutting funds, etc. But we survived, right? We did survive. I think the next few months, and I say next few months because I think it'll start to stabilize early 2023. I think the next few months are probably going to be just as important for brokers to be able to provide that support to their customers. And I go back to the broker because the brokers now, if anything, are pivotal in that role for customers. They've got customers and small businesses are going to brokers for advice. The broker's role has become so much more important than what it was, say, 10 years ago. It's changed.
They've become like that trusted advisor, so to speak.
100%.
Right?
We're constantly hearing that they're trusted advisor. They're the trusted advisor because they know the options out there for the customers. They know how to prepare them for what's to come in the next few months, and that's why really good brokers are talking to their customers and understanding and preparing them for the next few months. And I talk about this. How do you prepare them? You don't just wait for them to be reactive. You be proactive, and you go to them and you have a look at their data, like Shift, and maybe I am putting a plug here, but Shift with the data that they do provide, you're able to see how they're tracking. And so using that information to have a conversation with your customer about, hey, look, this has happened, or you're doing really well in this month, but I can see there was a drop there. What are you planning for that? Let's talk about it. And I think that proactiveness really, really will help in the next few months.
So we've got a lot of home loan brokers that listen to the podcast and that are followers. What would you say to them with regards to diversification? It's a hot topic at the moment. It's all over all of the media publications at the moment. Home loan brokers looking to diversify, especially in the uncertain times that are coming. Mm-hmm. What advice would you give them?
I just want to back it up just a tad. If they're prepared to diversify, that's fantastic. There are some that don't want to, and that is totally fine because they've probably got enough work to do with their current portfolio and their current book, and they just want to stick to resi. But those that are willing to diversify and want to, there's so much resources out there. Your lender BDMs probably will support you in that way and explain the different products. I think really with brokers wanting to diversify is just take a punt. And I think just give it a go. It's not that hard. When I say it's not that hard, I got to preempt it because I'm not a broker. But I think with your connections as a broker and your, relationships with your lender BDMs and others in the industry, they will help and they will explain. And if they don't, come to Boban because he'll like, you know, give him a word.
So what I'm hearing is a lot of support, there's a lot of hand holding,
Yes.
and for brokers not to be scared to diversify
Yes.
into asset finance.
Don't be scared. Yep, definitely.
Perfect. Marie, that is all we have time for today. Thank you very much for coming in, joining the broker room, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.